I've been making it a quest for a little while to find some of the most retarded shit on the internet, and I think I found it and I needed to share with you.
That's crazy. I mean, it's melting it now. Okay, there it is.
How much heat do
You have to put an enormous amount of
500 degrees.
to melt this snow. Manufactured snow. Manufactured ice. That's insane.
Should be cutting holes at it right now.
That's insane. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should have been getting ice all off of there. It should have been done within a matter of minutes.
I've never seen anything in 64 years like this. And my daddy was here, he'd tell you the same thing. When you stick that kind of heat to an ice cube, it should just melt. Okay?
With that kind of heat, it should have just melt, is the caption for this video. Meanwhile, this is what's happening in America. It seems like there's people melting snow for their entire life and getting actually confused by what's happening here. And I love how it says everyone is realizing. This man has been melting snow all of his life. What the fuck kind of a life is this? One of the trading trends here is that it's always the government. We're going to see more of that in about a second, but it's always the government. Something that I found was a little bit funny. I have a busted water line. I have been melting snow for the last 36 hours. Trust me, it melts fine. This guy is just an idiot. Of course, okay, I'm going to try to steel man this just a little bit. You can live in a different area. The area he's living in, the government is pouring the fake snow, synthetic snow or whatever. So the lesson is, if you turn that kind of heat onto an ice cube, it should just melt. First of all, that was snow. It wasn't an ice cube. But it literally did exactly what you were talking about right in front of our eyes. But hey, that is what it is. And I love the fact that even you can see the earlier tests right over here. That's definitely melted. And the black stuff that you're seeing is soot. It actually takes a lot of energy to melt snow and ice. You just don't do that at an instant just because you torch it a little bit. And even at the end of the day, you did actually see it melt. But hey, who am I to tell you? Let's see some more. Winter is back, which of course means snow, which also means people get to once again test their chemically geoengineered infused snow. For your interest, snow should melt, and it certainly shouldn't turn black. Yes, because every time in Finland it snows and it just doesn't melt, and for some reason it turns black. We need ice over here, and I'm talking about that deporting force. Maybe I'm gonna get deported too.
Okay, got the snow. This is so wild. Okay, got the snowball, right? Set this phone up so you can see this. Watch this. See it? It's not melting. Look at it, it's burning. It's literally burning. No water coming off. This is supposed to be snow, right? Look at this. Look at it.
Yeah.
What is...
The funny thing with this, again, is that it clearly melted a little bit, but that heat source is just too small to do actually anything impactful here, except burn a little bit soot on top of the layer of snow that we have here. Or not actually even burn, it's extracting a little bit of soot on top of the layer of the snow we have here. And I actually had to do some background work a little bit too to understand exactly what's going on. So when you actually are trying to melt a snowball this way, yes, it does actually melt, and those little droplets of water, they actually get into those ice crystals. There's a lot of space inside of that snowball where that dissipating water is going to push towards. It's just not going to melt underneath. exactly. It works like a sponge in a way.
What's this?
Oh no. And the funny thing is, you're melting it right there. Just put a pan. Put a pan on a heater. Put the ball of snow that doesn't melt, the synthetic snow, whatever you want to call it, and just put it on a pan and see what happens. The insanity continuing, bringing the government snow. This is a different handle, at least. Like I was saying, there was a lot of these handles just producing this nonsense. And I for a second I thought that they actually decided to disable everything, just like delete everything that they were posting before. And I thought I was actually going insane. Maybe it was like a conspiracy theory in my head that people are actually this stupid. But no, I just had to put snow and government onto the X search, and that's how I found the content yet again, because I forgot to bookmark it or whatever the thing is here over at Twitter. So enjoy this piece of gem.
Just look at this mess, guys. Got a black line going down there. It's insane.
Yes, it's insane. Clouds and maybe contrails from planes. That's where we're getting our synthetic snow from. The one that doesn't burn, or actually does burn, and it doesn't melt, but it did melt right in front of the video camera when you were shooting. I have no idea what we're doing here anymore, but yeah, let's just go to the comments yet again. It's the dumping hard outside of Vidalia, GA. I'm not entirely sure where that is. This picture were taken, this picture were took between lunchtime and 6 p.m. I feel so helpless. I want fresh air. I want my kids to be able to breathe fresh air and play it outside the sun. Evil in plain sight. Lord help us. Why would Israel do this? This is, as a human society, it's just people in general, I think we are going back in time. We're getting back to the Stone Ages because we have people that they do have all of that information right in front of their eyes, and they just say nah to it and just go on their day, pushing absolute bullshit on the internet. But hey, it's great content, I guess. But yeah, they did the same thing here. They did the same thing in Ocala, Florida. I've never actually heard about Ocala. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but maybe it's like a city inside Florida. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah. It's the government... this actually extends to everything. It's not just the government snow, it's everything. These people are just inside that funnel of conspiracy theories. It's everything that they see, everything that they feel is just conspiracy theories. This is just insane. But yeah, this goes on, by the way. This isn't just like a couple of handles that I found posting this stuff. This is people actually going through it. I do think there's a portion of it that are trolls and they're just enjoying the moment. But some of these people are posting their faces without any context, just showing videos them burning snow, which is insane. Today's weather brought to you by your government. Government is going to be the pattern here, by the way. It's always the government.
So there's all this talk about a snowstorm, but nobody looks up in the sky. You see Southwest right there? I bought a camera so we can actually see who's doing this. And I found all these jets who are barraging the skies before this alleged, build the snowman snowstorm. You see what I'm saying right here? And it got funnier when I checked the radar and I saw this. There's hardly any snow. And then if you take the radar a little farther, you got a little rain and you got light snow. Build a snowman. And since we're going to try to figure out who's doing it, can't seem to figure it out. Federal agencies involved in weather modification research. Department of Commerce, Department of Interior, National Science Foundation, Department of Defense. It's the federal government. That's why when the states try to ban the old weather modification, you got the feds doing it.
Yeah, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's taking something that didn't even happen or happened that you didn't know how to explain and just drawing a fucking long line into another portion of something that is very, very dumb. There was a portion of Americans, I think it was on the MAGA movement. I don't actually care about the politics sides of any of this at all. If you were a Democrat, you're this dumb. It doesn't matter. If you're a Republican, it doesn't really matter. The point is you're believing that the snow is synthetic and it's fake. I'm not entirely sure where we're going to go from there, but there were people, I think it was a couple of years ago when they had those hurricanes, they thought that those hurricanes were controlled by the government to make sure that they can actually win the next election. Yeah, that's where we are at the moment. These people, they need help. The Independent had to even make a statement about this. This is wild that Jake Paul is actually talking with the president right now. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but yeah, welcome to 2026 politics too. This is amazing. But yeah, fake snow. Conspiracy theory claims Texas weather government generated. So yeah, there's a lot of TikTok users attempting to prove recent snowfall as synthetic and a part of a sinister plot. I'm not entirely. This is the funny thing is nobody's even talking about what's the plot. What's the plot? Why is the government turning the snow fake? Is the snow going to be turned gay too? What's the plot? Is there like a microchip inside of the snow that is going to control your brain just like the 5G towers? They actually had to make an article about this and debunk them as well, which is kind of very, very sad. And the funny thing is, this isn't even the first time that this has happened. It seems to be a yearly thing every time, and most of it just surrounds Texas for some reason, with the caption on the next video, "I weep for the education system in the state of Texas." And once you see the video, it's just gonna blow your mind again.
Okay. And another one, because people said that they
Fresh
would
ice
cut
for
it out.
fresh snow for all the haters.
Oh man. Okay, here we go. Ah, the flame. Come on, flame. Snowball. Not melting. And turning black. Didn't melt. Come on, flame. There's a flame. Come on. Not melting. And turning black. It's not melting. See?
That snow is an Afro-American hiding in plain sight. This is where we're at. It actually even had to come to a point where I had to just research it a little bit just to make sure that I did remember a couple of tests in my childhood. I don't remember where I did it, how I came to a place where I actually had a piece of copper, but it seems like if you have just a piece of copper, actually any metal is fine as long as it's dense and very conductive, especially for heat, which copper is. And you can actually see what happens when you actually put a piece of snow or a piece of ice on top of copper. It melts extremely quickly, which is very cool. You can actually do that the next time it snows in Texas. You take a piece of snow, you burn it, and you don't throw that piece of snow away. The one with the soot, the one that burns, you put it on top of a piece of copper and see what happens. Once it turns to water right in front of your eyes, I really want to know what is going to be the next lie that you come up with for it to be the government snow, the fake snow, the worst kind of snow out there, the fake snow. So yeah, right here you can actually see what's going on.
I have a copper plate heavy.
This is a funny woman,
I have
by the way.
a plastic plate. They are
She's
at the
actually
same
very funny, by the way.
What do you think will happen if I put a piece of ice on each of them? No tricks. Watch, watch, watch. It starts melting immediately. It's all about thermal conductivity. Copper is an excellent conductor. When I put this piece of ice on copper, it makes a cold spot underneath. Heat rushes into it. The temperature under ice on copper plate is higher. That's why this piece of ice melts so fast.
The next time it's snowing in Texas, remember to take that piece of snow, put it on top of copper. Maybe the government, they changed the design of that snow. By the way, that actually is true. Maybe they did. Maybe the next time you take that snow, you put it on top of copper, it melts just like intended to fake you. But when you try to burn it, it doesn't melt and it turns to black. Yeah, that's the video, by the way. You're definitely not getting away from this video more informed. I think I dropped a couple of IQ points for everybody watching this video, if there's anybody even watching. But if there was and you enjoyed it, hopefully you enjoyed it enough to leave a like. Maybe comment what the next conspiracy theory looks like, because I have a list of them. Maybe we're going to check that out on the next video. But yeah, have a good time. Jesus Christ.